Life begins at the end of our comfort zone. And a mission like this for ICCC, it's the more we think about it, it's really massive. It's really big, of really building a community. And we, frankly speaking, we are very limited in our resources, in our knowledge, in our skill, in our experience. But the great thing is, when you are pursuing God's dream, you are relying on the power of God and not the power of man. Amen. And that's why we're so thankful that somehow when we start this, God connects us with different organizations that have the same heart. In different areas that we can really join together, we can really explore different possibilities on how we can contribute our passions and our strength in this project, in building this holistic community. In Indonesia, we are working closely with Dr. Share. Dr. Share is a local organization that provides medical help to remote islands in Indonesia. And here, we are so thankful that we're connected with organizations like Mustard Seed, Organics for Orphans, that we work together and think of a way that we can really pursue this together. So we're just going to invite Peter Montgomery from Organic for Orphans, and then later on followed by Lucy Howell from Mustard Seed, and they will share their hearts in their ministry, and I hope we be inspired by whatever they're doing. Peter.
Hi everyone. What a blessing it is to be here. I'm going to open this up, if you don't mind. Can you still see me? I'm told. I just want to thank Somi for inviting us to come. It seems to me that you're already involved in a lot of mission work and having a significant impact on the world already. So why you need us here, I don't know. But anyway, I'm here to share a little bit about what we do. I work with an organization called Organics for Orphans, and I'm a missionary with them. And I go to Africa most of the time, 3-4 times a year. And we teach people how to grow organic food so they can have something to eat. Most of the time they don't. And let me see here, how do we work this thing? Which side do I press? Right? Yes. Okay, there we go. How this organization started, it started really with a couple, Dale and Linda Bolton, and they went to Africa for a visit, and they discovered, to their actual astonishment, that there's 57 million orphans in Africa. And they were very upset about that and decided that they really ought to do something about it. So the orphan population in Africa, sadly, rather than decreasing, which you would expect it would be doing with all the efforts that are going into supporting life and people in Africa, it is actually increasing every year significantly. Dale and Linda decided that after a visit to Malawi, I think it was in 2008, that they should start an organization that would specifically target orphans. And one of the things that triggered this was that they visited a number of orphanages in Africa, discovered that the orphans were being fed basically rice and beans. What's more, white rice and beans, both of which have virtually no nutrition. Beans have quite a bit of protein, but not a lot of nutrition. Rice has virtually no nutrition whatsoever. It's just starch, which turns to sugar, which is very bad for you, as you all know. So, but I'm sure you eat it, don't you? Anybody here doesn't eat white rice? Okay, gotcha. Okay, I'm not here to tell you what to eat. But if you see me afterwards, I'll have a word in your ear. So Dale and Linda decided that they would like to do something. Linda actually started a business about 10 years ago called Natural Calm, and Dale joined her in that business on the condition that she would take all of the profits from that business and support an organization to help orphans in Africa. And that is exactly what they've done. Their business has grown. And they now take all of the profits from that business to support the work of Organics for Orphans. Nothing is spent on administration. Nobody gets paid. We raise our own funds. Every single nickel that comes into the organization goes to program. Not very many people can say that in any organization. I know, because I've worked in relief and development for 23 years and for a number of different organizations. So this is pretty unique. But anyway, moving on. What they were looking at basically was this thing of hidden hunger. Most of the children looked fairly healthy. They were eating okay, they had good body mass. However, whenever disease came around, malaria, diarrhea, whatever, they would die. And this not just children, but adults also. The average life expectancy in Kenya is 57. So when I go to Kenya, I'm ancient, 57 years old, and you don't see many people older than their 40s, and they just die. They look healthy, they just die. And you say to people, what happened to so-and-so? Oh, well, he died. Well, what did he die of? Oh, I don't know, he just died. He got a headache one day and died. I mean, this is because they have no immune system, and because of the diet. And the orphans were in that position. So basically we had, Organics for Orphans was started with 4 goals, and there are the goals there. Food security, number 1, nutritional education, disease prevention, and income generation. But the first one is food security. This is one of the Millennium Development Goals that the United Nations want to implement, that everybody is food secure. And basically what that means is when you wake up in the morning, you have something in your house to eat. In most countries, in Africa and in many developing countries, when they wake up in the morning, there is nothing in the house to eat. They have to find it first, then they have to find the wood to burn in the fire to cook it. And most of that is done by the women, sadly. So, food security is really important. Nutrition is vitally important, simply because although they have food, they don't understand that eating white rice is not going to make you healthy. If you live on white rice, you will look healthy, but you'll die young. It won't stop you going to heaven, you'll just get there sooner. So, you know, people in these countries, they don't understand about greens, they don't understand about fruit, they don't understand about what their body needs in order to stay healthy. God has made us with healthy bodies. We have then continually destroyed them by what we put into them or don't put into them, right? We can live to be 120 years old. Did you know that? I'm heading there. I'm pushing 70 now. And I can still do 50 push-ups. Still run around the block. But you know, it's only because I'm eating the right thing and avoiding the bad stuff. And this is what we try to teach people. And believe me, it's not easy getting people off white rice. Anyway, disease prevention follows naturally. If you feed them the right food, their immune system will work properly. They won't get sick. Or at least if they do, they'll get better quickly. And of course, income generation, also important. So we started basically by teaching these 1-week seminars and going into communities and taking this information, getting a group of women together, teaching them how to grow organic food, teaching them a little bit about nutrition, and getting them started with their own little community garden. So that started in 2008. And then it spread. We continued to get more and more communities who wanted to do this. I'm pushed for time, so I'm slipping through this quickly. One of the things we do is we want it to be appropriate technology, so we use very simple tools. We don't bring in rototillers or tractors. We give them simple tools, djembes and rakes, and sometimes something like high-tech like a wheelbarrow, but most of the time they just get a watering can. But they can do it with these tools. And there's not a lot of point in us bringing in a tractor, which once it breaks down is going to sit in the field for the next 20 years. So we are keen on sustainability, okay? A project must be sustainable. Once we start it, when we leave, we have no further input into that project. It must continue without us. That is sustainability. If it doesn't, it's not sustainable. So we have the intention of starting a project. After 6 months or a year, leaving that project, it's all yours. And we've done this now in 400 projects we have in Africa, in 8 different countries, and that's all happened in 5-6 years. And it's continuing to grow rapidly simply because it's very cheap. It costs about $500 to implement this in a community, and a whole community is then changed with $500. Okay? Most of the projects are run by women. And there you can see some of the projects, some of the produce. See the size of those carrots? This is organically grown food without any chemicals, pesticides, herbicides, or any other sides besides. Okay? All organic, very healthy, high nutrition. Okay? So, growing biointensive, these are some of the things that are included in the grow biointensive method. Okay? No chemicals. You produce your own fertilizer through composting. You save your own seeds. You don't buy Montana seeds. You use a small piece of land and you use simple tools. And we teach a 1-month training program to teach this. So what you're getting in 8 minutes is 1 month's worth of stuff here. Okay? Then we moved on from simply teaching how to grow good food to looking at natural medicine. And Hippocrates, who's the founder of modern medicine, almost 3,000 years ago, said, let your food be your medicine and medicine be your food. Okay? So modern medicine is based on that principle, although they would completely deny that. I was also in the pharmaceutical industry for 20 years, so I know that side of the story too. And they would never admit to that. However, that is the truth. This is a nutritional chart which we use, and I've got it at the back for those who want to see it later. And as you can see, this shows you on the left-hand side, this is a nutrient density chart which shows how much nutrient there is in each plant that we eat, or each piece of food that we eat. And if you look at the top left, you'll see kale is at the top with 1,000 nutrients. Okay, this is nutrient density, nutrients per calorie. Okay, now if you look down on the right-hand side, you'll see white rice, 11. Look at the bottom, Coca-Cola, 1. How much Coca-Cola is drunk around the world? How much kale is eaten around the world? Okay, why do we have sick people in the church? Why do we have people dying in the church when God has given us everything we need for righteousness and life? Okay? Everything we need, we have. However, if we choose not to eat it, well, then we run to God and say, please heal me, Lord, I'm sick. He said, well, I gave you kale, why didn't you eat it? Well, I don't like kale, I like Coca-Cola. Yeah, well, that's no excuse. However, God does not judge us as our sins deserve or reward us according to our iniquities, does he? No. And if we get sick, we can ask God to heal us, and he does. Okay? So, just thought I'd add that. Here is, we moved on to another thing, looking at plants that were extremely nutritious that grew in Africa and other parts of the world. And here you can see 2 particular ones. One was moringa and one's artemisia. You may have heard of moringa. Anybody heard of it? No. Yes? There you go. Moringa is the highest nutritional plant in the world. It has more nutrition in it than any other plant on earth. Somewhere in the region of about 1,500 nutrients per calorie. And Artemisia is another plant that grows in developing countries, which is the best way to treat malaria. Far better than any malaria medicine. Okay, if you look at a map, you'll see there, these are the countries colored in red are where most of the malnutrition is in the world, okay? And you can see that most of it is in that window that they used to call a 1040 window, and this is where many people die as a result of malnutrition. Then if you look at another picture where moringa grows, you can see that it's almost identical to where malnutrition is. Speed it up, she says. Okay. So, one of the things we do is we teach this 1-month training program, and we produce organic trainers, and that takes 1 month. We also do projects in schools. Now we have several schools that are doing, have their own community gardens. We also go into public schools. We go into slum projects. There's many slums where people are living in atrocious conditions. We go in there, we teach them organic gardens, and they start to grow their own food. We also now started going into the prisons. We're invited to go into the prisons, and the women in the prisons were ecstatic about growing organic food and having something decent to eat. And we're also now recently have gone into the men's prisons as well. Okay, is that quick enough? Okay, so that's it from us. It's a wonderful organization. I've been with them for 4 years now, and I'm very excited about it. If you're interested in talking to me a little bit more, we have a quarterly e-blast that we put out, which if you give me your email address, I'll send it to you. If you do decide to support us or partner with us, then we would be delighted, and all of the money goes directly to programs. Okay, bless you. Thank you so much for having me.